Hi there guys, it is now 1 PM, which means that the castle event is now out. So this is where the divine event starts to get really tricky because we really want to get a hold of the divine Chrono Erlang Shen dragon, as technically he's the only divine dragon that you can get completely for free just by doing an event. So let us participate in the Divine Allies Castle event. So the rift is back. I thought we would do it. We were done with it after befriending the future divines of Mount Dragon Olympus. I can't read. Not so, son of mine. Do you remember the Pangu Dragon from your adventure with Arya on the island of New Beginnings? You mean the super powerful divine dragon that shaped the earth and heavens with a swing of its tail? Ugh. That's right! It appears this very dragon had a claw in opening the rift again. Or at least a dragon that looks quite like it. The whole thing bears further investigation from courageous adventurers such as yourselves, of course. So, that is the introduction to this event. At least we actually get some event dialogue this time. So, main thing to note are all of the rewards in this event. And oh my god, 120 divine tickets for a level 4 completion? That's insane, actually. But anyway, aside from the divine tickets that you get for 1, 2, 3, and level 4, we also have the level 5 reward being the epic Jade Warrior dragon, which is a brand new dragon that we've never had before. And thank you Crowded Nursery and Divine Dusk for that. But on top of that, we do also have the level 6 reward for this event, being the regular Erlang Shen dragon. So if you never got him before, you do have the opportunity to get him again. But the major reward for this castle event, of course, is Mr. Chrono Erlang Shen dragon. And to get him, you need to get all 21 pieces out of every single chest on every single level of the event. So it is best for you to try and move on to the next levels as quickly as you possibly can, because the further up in levels you go, the more points that you can get per refill, and the refills are every 6 hours. So apart from that, it is a regular castle event. So here we are again. The scenery is a bit different, but the endless drop into the void of space-time sure hasn't changed. It's like a whole new rift to explore. I wonder what kind of dragons we'll meet this time around. You won't have to wander long, are you? Look, it's the Erlang Shen dragon. Hide! I've always wanted to meet you again, Erlang Shen dragon. Are you saying you'd like to travel with us? What an honor. Well, I guess that is that. So is this the same map as last time? I actually can't tell from level 1 so far. There's a lot of pots everywhere, but we do see Chrono Erlang Shen here, so we will move on using event currency as per usual. So, Eliza, what are you doing here? And what in Dragalandia is that? Well, hello to you too, brats. To answer your first question, this creature dragged me here and seems to be carrying out my every whim. No questions asked. As to question number 2, this is the Chrono Erlang Shen dragon, and it's going to utterly destroy you. Something tells me that that's probably not true. These are all level 1 skills. It literally doesn't even matter which skills we use, really. So, maybe it'd be good to put metal on us, but level 1 attacks are really not very good. So we will just 2-shot it instead. Nice and easy. Ugh, I thought for sure I had you this time. Just give me a second to recuperate and I'll be back to finally beat you. Oh, what a battle. I wonder what that was all about, though. It's not every day you see a divine dragon totally getting along with a Viking. It's unusual for sure, but we gotta remember, we have no idea what these Chrono Divines want, or who exactly they're allied with. That is true, Ned. Speaking some true facts right there. So, since we want to be moving on to the next levels as quickly as we possibly can, we want to be finding what the shortest, technically, and also the cheapest route for these chests is. Usually the cheaper routes are those that include battles that you have to do, because, you know, having to do the battles is more difficult than just clicking on a tile to progress through them. So for example, this tile was 16 in comparison to 44, and you will be able to use every single element to do the first couple of levels. But the further that you go in the castle events, you are limited to certain elements only. And those are, well, that's the main thing that makes castle events quite difficult sometimes. It is mainly about the restrictions to the elements that you can use. So hopefully you've got a wide range of different elements on your team. Because if not, well, you're probably kind of screwed. But regardless, those are the 2 beginning fights done. And now you'll see that this tile here is only 37 and the one above it is only 41. So that is much cheaper than going to the left-hand side. So it's worth trying this chest out first. And it doesn't really matter because we ended up having to open up both anyway. But since we have to open up every single chest, it doesn't really matter too much. We're going to be opening up all of them. So I guess we just get it done quicker. So there we go. Let's move on to the next level. So cool, the Erlang Shen dragon sniffed out a key. Say, can you show me one of your 72 transformations next? Maybe we should just let it focus on leading us through here in one piece. I don't know, Ned. Sometimes you just gotta power through it, you know. So there are 5 tickets for basically doing absolutely nothing, which I will definitely take. But we will need to start collecting event currency from this point onwards, which is the tedious part of the event. And let's not forget that this event is 10 days long, which is 10 days of grinding and grinding. And usually with these castle events in the divine events, they take about 7 to 8 days to complete. But we'll see. We'll see. So, wow, it's like a palace in space. Isn't it beautiful, Ned? It's not nearly as beautiful as... What was that? Our dragon friend's looking at you funny. It could see through the lies, you know. Better watch what you say. Oh god, did you take it as an insult? You ruined your chance, Ned. It doesn't matter anyway, since, you know, Eliza and her have the whole lesbian thing going on, but regardless, you know, if we go to the points that we actually need for the event, it's the same as usual: collect gold, collect food, breed dragons, feed dragons, win battles, catch creatures. I feel like I have said that about 7 billion times over time. I'm actually sort of sick of saying the exact same quests over and over again at this point, because it's the same for castle events as it is for Dragon's Delight events. That can get kind of boring, but, you know, for the breeding, it is up to you whether you want to go for the Dragon of the Month still, or whether you want to be as optimal as possible with the castle event. I know that even if I'm not fully optimal with my breeding, I'm still going to be able to finish the divine event, so I am just going to try and breed for that Cancer Dragon, because I really, really do not want to miss out on finishing that Zodiac collection. But do be aware that there are better breeding combos that you can use. Normally, well, it's dependent on the event, but the DML wiki should update you with like 20 different combinations that you can use depending on the time frame that you've got. So one that we used to use quite a lot was Fire and Shadow, but I am unaware if the points still work out the same as what they used to. But regardless, the DML wiki will of course update as usual before we even know it, so make sure you've got the event page up and running and the breeding stuff will be nice and easy. In terms of the farms, I always either use hour food, 2-hour food, or 6-hour food, depends on what is best for the situation. 2-hour food doesn't give you a whole lot of food. The 1-hour and 6-hour food is the most optimal for, you know, actually creating food, but I just normally go with an hour during these events because I'm going to be logging in more frequently, and plus it's enough to fully clear the collect food parts for the first couple of tiers, so it's not too bad either way. So feeding dragons, winning battles, and catching creatures. The catching creatures bit is probably the most annoying one aside from breeding. At least you can actually do the catching creatures bit, whereas the other one is the breeding is technically impossible at the final tier unless you've got 2 breeding dens, but as long as you're getting a majority of the points for all of these quests every single reset, you should be pretty much good to go. You still should be able to miss probably max of 1 reset a day if you are 100% completing every other tier, but I would not recommend it. Of course, if you can help it, log in for every single 6-hour reset, because otherwise you will be cutting it way too fine and it is not worth the stress. You know, I know that it's more difficult for people that play on PC, especially during these events, because, you know, you can't physically take a gigantic desktop with you wherever you're going. So these events are slightly easier on mobile devices and tablets for that reason, that you can take them wherever you want. You can take it to school, you can take it to work, but even when I used to work, sometimes I used to work 13 hours a day and I used to get them done. So these ones are slightly more difficult than the base castle events, but even if you miss a couple of resets, it's not the end of the world as long as you're on top of it for the other remaining resets. But try to hit every single point that you possibly can. It's just not worth throwing away potential points for no reason. Set alarms if you have to. Like, if you need to set alarms for your breeding or you need to set alarms for your food, do it. It will help you out tremendously during these events. But anyway, moving back onto level 2 here, we can actually continue now because we have collected some more event currency. And now we have to explode the Chang Dragon. So, don't tell me the Chang Dragon is on Eliza's side. I thought at least divines from our time would defend us. It must be some sort of misunderstanding. Nothing a good battle can't clear up. I'll always be mystified by that logic of yours. Anyway, let's go, Chang Dragon. There's extra treats in it for you if we win. Wow, she actually fell for that. I thought she was like the protector of the moon. Looks like you're only getting the normal amount of treats today, Chang Dragon. That is too cruel. Oh, please, look how happy the Chang Dragon is just being around me. And before you say anything, no, I don't get it either. Okay, so their logic was, we don't really have an explanation, so let's just say that we don't understand either. I like it. I can dig it. It's like the best way if shows or TV programs don't know how to explain their own thing that's happening. They just say, we don't know what it is either, haha. And it's like, okay then. Well, I guess no one knows. I guess we just can't question it at this point. But it's a good cop-out. But it also works. So, I'll take it. But these fights should start getting slightly more difficult now at this point, as in the enemies won't gain any extra levels because the enemies' levels in these events is based off of your main team's levels. But you can see already that the amount of elements that we can use has been heavily reduced. But at least we've got Legendary and Divine. As long as Legendary and Divine are primary elements for most of these levels, we will not have an issue. We will definitely not have an issue. Oh, I really need to blow my nose. But anyway, will we be able to open this? Just about. Do you think we can get it in our first chest? I think the odds are like 1 in 6 or something like that. Let's see. Nope. Feels bad, man. Never lucky. It is possible to get your key in any chest on any level, but it is random as to which chest you're going to get it in. So don't ask people where they got their keys from, because it doesn't matter where they found theirs from. Yours is different. Again, every time you open up a chest, it basically does a little re-roll, and it's like, imagine a little circle where it's like, if you hit here, then you win, or if you hit in this quadrant, you win, and say it does a whoosh, 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 and it hits there. There you go, you don't get it. That is like the most simplistic way of explaining how the chest rerolls work, and it's not even completely accurate, but I just need people to one day understand that the keys are not the same for everyone. No matter how many times I explain it, no matter how many times we go through it and people complain at other people for asking, people are still gonna ask. I don't even know why I bother anymore. But anyway, aside from that, you know, we do have Pangu Shrine as a special offer as well if you want to take advantage of it. It generates 200 or 168 a day. It would be massively oversimplifying to say it generates 200 a day. It's 168 a day, which is not a lot. 168 a day is nothing. It will not be the thing that wins you the event. So the only reason you'd want to buy the Pangu Shrine would be to, you know, have the decorative piece on your island. But don't buy this expecting it to win the event for you. Okay? And just putting it out there. If you're gonna buy it, just be aware that it might feel a little bit good for the starting levels, but it will not help you sort of level 4 onwards. It will feel like nothing. But anyway, that is the beginning of the event. We are, of course, going to be logging in about an hour when the breeding dragons is available and the catching creatures, but we will be logging in every 6 hours to try and complete this event. So it's going to be a long slog, and the sooner that you get the Jade Warrior, the sooner that you can start breeding for that Pangu Dragon in his Divine Dawn special chain breeding event, because it is now actually out with the introduction of the event. So the sooner you get him, the better off you are gonna be. And what is this? Why are they suggesting to use the Mud and War Dragons to breed the Cancer Dragon? That is such a bad... whatever. That is not a great combo anyway. It's alright, it's just not one of the main two, being either fire, rust, or elemental and metal. So if you got them, use the other two main combos instead. But I feel like I've just been talking non-stop. I feel like my throat is about to collapse. So for now, thank you for joining me. If you do need any help, let me know, or you can ask on Discord or wherever. But until next time, I will see you then.